still has some harboring resentment for it because when she was a kid, when she needed him, he was not there. And I understand her being pissed. But right now, she's up, all kinds of, it's just hit the fan. It's bad. And she starts going on dates again. She gets some guy on Tinder. Oh, I kind of skipped one part. One part they took off together. I mean, it's a lot like the Mary Kay Letourneau story, but that kid was 14, and that was even, I don't want to say worse. They're both equally bad, but that is basically, you don't need any permission because that's underage and that's statutory rape. And Mary Kay Letourneau, she actually went to jail, and she actually has pregnant. She actually married him later and have kids together. I think they have 4 kids together or something like that. I don't know if that's good or bad, but they are still together. So I guess it was meant to be. But let's see. There was a point I was making. I forget what it was now. Crap, I hate that. I kind of jumped all over the place. The reason I brought it up because she ran off and now she made it more damning to herself. The problem with this relationship, and there's Lifetime movies on it and all that kind of stuff, and it sounds like salacious and forbidden fruit, but the reality is this: a young person is getting hurt in the process. Now, if they can be able to maturely handle that relationship, and a lot of them can't, it'd be something different. Maybe he'll come better from it, but I think he really loved her, and her side is not healthy. Um, it's not fair to him. I mean, he's looking for a relationship, and I guess the girls he's been dating just don't fulfill what he wanted. But this one right here is not going to be the same fulfillment. It's also equally going to be bad. Nothing good comes from this. She's not available. She's in not even committed. She's married. So I don't know where they thought they're going to have their fling and they're just going to be done with it. I mean, her job was at stake, and this is her actual student. But it shows you that it's not just some double standard. It's just that you just never hear this side in that way. Now there was a movie a long time ago, well, not a super long time ago, but a while back. I don't know when the time that Daddy's Boy, in contrast to this, the Teacher movie came out, but Adam Sandler did a movie about where he was a 14-year-old kid who basically has relationships with an older woman played by Susan Sarandon. Well, Susan Sarandon plays the older version, but it's Susan Sarandon. I don't remember the younger actress who played. And basically gets her pregnant. He's basically, the child is in the custody of his dad, and it's the more of a comical version of it. They more talk about the comical side of it, and as opposed to the serious side. And he basically becomes famous, Donnie Bugger. Yeah, this is set in Boston too, I'm assuming. And basically, the kid grows up just wanting to do with the dad, and basically when they come back in his life, he's getting married to some woman, which there's a lot of taboos in that movie. They don't stray away from anything. I mean, there are some creepy moments, but it's a comedy, so it's like you can almost kind of get away with it if you're aware of what you're joking about. It's not taking this in a dark thing, but it was clearly an unhealthy relationship. He was 14, and she was like, I don't know how she was. I don't know, 26 or 27, probably the same age as Mary Kay Letourneau. Probably around that age. I mean, there's so many. There's SVU, Law and Order TV shows. One I watched a while back where the young man was having a relationship with his teacher. I remember After School Special where it was a grown man having a relationship with his student. There's a lot of very creepy ones. That was super creepy. There's this is not the same because it's not a teacher, but it's an adult and The movie Towelhead was racial slur, but Towelhead was a very good movie. It's a movie about a Lebanese girl who basically moves in with her, estranged father, who didn't really have much, to do with it. Bad marriage, divorce, everything like that, and I guess she got custody, and then she basically, had her boyfriend over, and her boyfriend was basically shaving her pubes or whatever, and somehow it was her fault. I don't understand that. That woman should have been punched in the face. She's a, and then, I don't want to say, it's a crappy mother, but she was a garbage mother. He was probably a garbage father as well. But right now she was a garbage mother because she literally says, dear, you can't be walking around half naked. You're the mother. How about do your job? He's a pervert. What are you doing? She's 14. He's a grown man. Punch him in the face too. Surprised they both didn't go to jail. Surprised she didn't get her child taken away from her. Someone should have reported her. But anyway, in that movie, and I know it's like I'm jumping all over the place. In that movie, basically, she's coming of age. The mommy. No one teaches about having her period. No one teaches about tampons and all kind of stuff like that. And she basically starts babysitting the next door neighbor's son because she's a couple of years older. I think he's like 10 and she's like 14 or 15, probably 14. And she finds his dirty magazines and gets, I don't want to get into descriptions, but she just starts getting, having fantasies or whatever. And that's when the guy starts having inappropriate relations with her. And she starts dating this guy in school, and then he finds out about it, and she runs off, and she stays at the next door neighbor's place. And the guy, I think he works. I think he's a reporter in Lebanon or something like that. But he has a pregnant wife at home, and she basically stays with her, and she brings her boyfriend over. Well, the boyfriend, and they start, having sex, but she's also sleeping with that older man. And at some point, the dad finds out because the dad comes over, and they get in this big argument, and it always gets really ugly. And that's when the daughter basically confesses, "I didn't lose my virginity to him," meaning her brother, not brother, her boyfriend. "I lost my virginity to an older man who was next door." And that's when the horror of everyone realizes that she's been abused. And he says, basically, why would you tell me? I thought you'd be mad. And then you realize he does really care. And I'm like, I know that's, I'm telling the story, I'm only telling the story to tie into the fact that, a lot of times, young people, even when it's 14 or 15 or 18, you're not mature enough to handle something like that. Of any relationship, lose your virginity, that's a big thing. And being in a relationship with someone older who actually should know better, who should not be in a situation, who should not be doing something like this. And it all ties in the same thing. They're all in the same category. So I don't understand why, that's not talked as much. It's talked in a way it's almost kind of like a taboo thing, but like the other side is definitely horrific. I mean, there's like even like jokes, and they're still funny. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but in reality, it's just it's bad. Now there's like a SNL skit with Pete Davidson and I forget the other comedian's name. I'll remember later, but it's not important. And it was called, Hot for Teacher or whatever the skit was, basically making, funny about how he started having relations with his teacher, and all the names to call him, like, king of the teacher, had sex with teacher, all that kind of stuff. And, what's the name? Kate McKinnon plays his mom. And at one point, I gotta admit, it's still funny. She gets up, "She's a monster," and she starts crying. Sit down and shut up. it's pretty funny. And I'm trying to think of something else in that, but those are like the comical sides of it. The dark side of it is the that's well, I don't say dark side, but no, screw it. I'm gonna say the more realistic side of it is the a teacher or the Mary Clay the Turner, but it's based on a true story because it's a true story. The movie or Childhead or most other movies that involve. Now there's the boy next door was more of a darker version, and she gets infatuated with this boy and the boy, and she loses he loses virginity, and he becomes obsessive. It's an obsessive part of it. And then there's the movie The Crush, which stars Carrie Elwes and the girl from Clueless. I can't think of her name right now for some reason. Not important, but he there's no relationship, but she becomes infatuated, and she's kind of mentally ill, and basically turns the world upside down. Now he doesn't do anything, but there is a moment where it's sketchy, where he does kiss her, and I don't know why he did that. I don't know why that was a thing. I mean, there's tons of stories about that. I mean, there's the relationship with Woody Allen and his stepdaughter. There's the assault that Roman Polanski does with some 14-year-old girl, which I don't know who she was and why she was at that. I think it was at Jack Nicholson's estate or something like that. I still don't know what. And all that's all kind of sketchy. Kind of want to know how, what's the name? What's her? It's the Sharon Tate. I wonder how she was when they got married. I don't know how she was when she died, but that couldn't have been the first time. This man was a Holocaust survivor. Why did he just up and risk everything for that? But that's another scenario. There's scenarios that depict. Right now, it's Chris D'Elia is another one who's got in trouble, and I'm not accusing him of anything because I don't know. I mean, it's all hearsay. It didn't look good. Him texting just girls online. I mean, that's sketchy in itself. Just forget the fact that whatever happened. Why is he hitting up his fans, trying to sleep with his fans? I'm assuming you got game. I hope you can talk to girls at a bar or at a club or something. Why? And that's how you get hemmed up in some stupid stuff. Now everyone, his so-called friends, then threw him under the bus. I don't know if he did what he did or didn't do. It is what it is. But basically, he screwed. His career is over, and just say it. And there's some other stories. Oh, there was the actor. I don't know his name. His career was pretty much done. He in the TV show Prison Break. Dominique something, whatever, Swan or whatever. The other guy, his brother, who was from the TV show John Doe. They both later played brothers on the TV show. What is it called? Legends Tomorrow. They both play brothers on there. They're like fire and ice or whatever their power is supposed to be. But anyway, in that TV show, basically, newcomer dude was in jail. This is one of his first big breaks, and he played a guy who was basically, chum to the slaughter, to the sharks. He was new. He was basically they were gonna pass him around like a joint. That's the character. I don't remember the actor's name, but basically, while the show was going on, he thought it was a great idea to basically have high school kids in his car while he was smoking and getting high and stuff like that, and they get in a really bad car accident, and basically, I think someone died in the process. If he didn't, I think they're close to death, and they have all underage drinkers in there and drug use, and now he's responsible for this for the rest of his life. Not the same thing, but it's in the category of how you're an adult, you should be responsible. Why are you putting yourself in this situation? Now, that wasn't sexual, but it was still, you're an adult and these are children. You should not put yourself in that situation.